Hello everyone and welcome to Tinderloss Gaming, and welcome to my very next playthrough of Arkham Horror the Living Card Game. This campaign is taken on the very new campaign from Fantasy Flight, Edge of the Earth. I'm going to go through the scenarios in a second and also a little bit of an unboxing, nothing major. There's plenty of other unboxings of the Edge of the Earth campaign expansion and also the Investigator expansion. I've got both of them. There's plenty of those online, and I'd recommend you go and have a look at those. But it's a very quick look at the boxes and what you get in the Investigators as well. And we're going to choose, or I'm going to choose, 2 new Investigators to take me through this campaign. As ever, this is not meant to be a mega serious playthrough. I'm not a mega gamer or meta gamer or anything like that. The decks I build are for fun. And generally not very good. So we'll see where that takes us. But anyway, so we're going to have a look at the campaign itself. I've deliberately not watched anything to do with Edge of the Earth. I've had the boxes now for a week or two. There's a few other bits I wanted to get before I'd done the playthrough. So yeah, I know nothing about Edge of the Earth. I know it's a new expansion and they're doing things slightly differently, and we'll get to that when we have a look at the box. But deliberately, I'm an absolute noob when it comes to Edge of the Earth. So, one thing I have done is had a quick look at the scenarios. So let's have a look at those. So hopefully, this is what we're going to be playing through. The scenarios are Ice and Death, Fatal Mirage, to the Forbidden Peaks, City of the Elder Things, and the Heart of Madness. Hopefully, whichever 2 investigators we take manage to make it all the way through, but as with this game and the beauty of playing it, you never know. They could die a horrible, insane death, go mad, be killed, I don't know, but that's the plan. I've got both of the boxes, like I said. And we'll have a look at those in a second, but we'll mark off the scenarios as we go, and I'm also going to use an online campaign log just so I can record it and whatever experience they get, and I can show you sort of how I've upgraded the cards, etc. So we'll be using that, but this is effectively a session 0. I'm going to be going through the campaign itself, what you get in the box, some other little bits, choose our investigators, get some decks sorted out, and then we're all set, ready to play through or start the first scenario, which I believe is Ice and Death, for the next video. So this is going to be a shorter video than normal, but like I say, treat it as a session 0 really. That's just me having a quick look at the stuff, getting all excited about it. So let's get across to the table. Here we are at the table. First thing I wanted to go through, we'll go through the box in a second, but as you guys know, have watched my previous playthroughs of Path to Carcosa, I use the LCG tokens for everything that in the game, the Chaos Bag, all of the supplies, the Doom, the Mythos, the clues, etc. And LCG games on Etsy, you can find them. I've purchased a couple of their really lovely Frost tokens. I think they're called Frost tokens. So that's one of the reasons why I just wanted to hang about. So I've got those and they'll go in wherever they need to go as part of our campaign. So they're really good. I bought 2 packs. I don't know how many you need, but as with all things LCG, really well made, really high quality, very tactile. They come in sort of like a bullet, sort of brushed brass effects with some glass. And I think they just really add some really sort of panache to the game. So there we go. That's some LCG tokens. I would thoroughly recommend. I'm not sponsored by LCG or anything like that. I just think they're really good quality with a very good price as well. So here we go. Edge of the Earth campaign box. Let's have a look what's inside. That's on the side. So we start off with some tokens, Frost tokens as I've said, some 3 Doom and 3 clues, which is really cool. Again, don't use these, I use the clues from LCG, but hopefully LCG might be bringing out, if they've not already done them, some ones that have got 3 on them. And then some of these sort of obelisk type runic things. Again, I don't know what they've got to do with, but obviously there's something going on there, because on one side they're lit up, on the other side they're not. So we'll need those, so we'll punch those out at some point. This I really love. Obviously you get the obligatory unfathomable, or a bit of marketing from Fantasy Flight. Haven't got any of those, but looks pretty good. I really like the artwork on these. Really nice. Maybe another purchasing coming. Put that to one side. We'll get to the campaign book in a minute. One thing that I have done this time, really good sturdy quality box. Some really nice plastic inserts for however you want to use them. And obviously all your cards. I've opened some of these up just to have a quick look at stuff, but you get all your scenarios. I'm not going to do too much with these, but you can see City of the Elder Things there. To fit a bit in peaks, and there's some monsters and counter cards there. Again, I've not really looked at them, but I just wanted to get them out and see what sort of order they're in. But really nice. I've got my own boxes. I bought them off a website on Facebook called Customized Gaming. Some big wooden boxes that I keep all of my cards in. But for those that haven't got that sort of stuff, really nice box actually that comes with it. One thing I'm really impressed with is the campaign guide. As I've said, Fantasy Flight are doing something different with this expansion. Previously, if you haven't sort of been involved in this game, they used to bring out effectively one box to start off with. When they started a campaign, you'd get, they call it sort of a deluxe expansion. You'd get some new investigators, you'd get some additional cards, and you'd get a couple or three of the scenarios to start off the campaign. And then they would release sort of monthly-ish mythos packs, which were sort of continuations for that campaign, but they'd bring them out monthly. In this box, they've decided, and I think it's a good way of doing it, everything for this campaign is in the box. So if you buy the Edge of the Earth campaign expansion, you will get all of the scenarios you need to play that campaign, which I think is a really good idea. This is something different as well. This is new for this expansion, the Spiral Bound campaign guide. Again, really good quality for what you're paying for it. Tells you exactly what you should be doing. And again, I'm going to go through this very quickly. I'm not going to read any of it because it's going to spoil it. But you can see artwork is really good, really nicely done. And we'll start reading that when we start playing the game. And a nice campaign log there. We'll be using an online one, but if people wanted to photocopy this and use it, then that's really cool. Quick reference guide there as well, that tells you how to do things. But again, have to say, very impressed with this so far. Now, next thing we want to do is have a look at our investigators. I'm not going to go through each of their cards in detail, the additional investigator cards other than the investigator card itself, if that makes sense. So we'll have a look at those now. So we've got Daniela Reyes, who's a mechanic, Guardians, she's Guardian. Bob Jenkins, salesman, survivor. Norman Withers, the astronomer, he is a seeker. We've got Monterey Jack, who's a rogue, he's an archaeologist in the game. And then we've got Lily Chen. Just move the camera a bit closer so you guys can see it a bit better. Hopefully that's going to focus in nicely. There we go. So let's go through these one by one and have a look, and then what I'll do is I'll decide on the two I'm going to use, and then we'll come back with some decks. Hopefully. That's the plan anyway. So let's have a look at Daniella first of all. Bring that in a bit closer now if I can. Sorry, the light's going to be shining on this a bit more. So Daniella, she's got 4 wheels, 1 intellect, 5 fight, and 2 agility. So as you'd expect from a Guardian, punchy. and her willpower's pretty good as well. Not so great at clue gathering, but then, you know, she's going to be hitting things. So she's got a reaction as her ability, and it says, after an enemy attacks you, accept an attack of opportunity that you provoked. Even if that attack was cancelled, either deal 1 damage to that enemy or automatically evade it. That's quite cool. The Mythos effect is +1. If you were attacked by an enemy this round, you automatically succeed instead. It says, relax, tough guy, I'll handle this. You stand over there and look pretty. And she's got 8 health and 6 sanity, so not too shabby. I do like her reaction after an enemy attacks you. Even if that attack was cancelled, deal 1 damage. So even if the enemy's standing when it comes to the attack phase for the enemy, you're going to still be able to do a little damage, which is quite cool. Back of her card, standard deck size 30. She can take Guardian cards, obviously level 0. Survivor cards levels 1 to 5, neutral cards 0 to 5, and up to 5 other survivor cards. So good standard deck building. So she comes with Mechanics Wrench, which is a 2-cost asset, a couple of fight symbols and a wild card, obviously her deck only. So as a free action, or as a free action, she gets to exhaust it, choose an enemy or location, that enemy attacks you. Okay. So that's effectively what's going to be working with her ability here. So if we tap this, it attacks us, we're going to do 1 damage to it, which is cool. We can also use it as a standard fight action. Use this ability only against an enemy that has attacked you since the end of your last turn. You get +2 attack for this and deal +1 damage. So what you could do, oh no, because you're gonna yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, see how that works. And then she's got Mob Goons as her weakness. It's Prey, obviously Daniela Reyes only. This enemy's attacks cannot be cancelled. Damage or horror dealt by this enemy's attacks is treated direct. It's doing 1 and 1. Okay, nice. So that's Daniella. We'll have a look at Lily Chen. So she has 3 willpower, 2 intellect, 4 fight, 3 agility. Okay, a little bit surprising for a mystic, but there you go. So she's chosen and a warden. It says you begin the game with each discipline in your deck in play, unbroken side face up. We'll come to those in a second. Mythos effect is +2. After this test ends, flip a broken discipline under your control to its unbroken side. And again, fairly straightforward, 7 and 7. Deck building size is standard at 30. You can use Mystic cards, level 0, Guardian cards, levels 1 to 5, neutral cards 0 to 5, and up to 5 other Guardian cards. She can't use any firearm assets. Okay. And it says at deck creation, choose a discipline asset to your to add to your deck. It's considered part of your deck building requirements. Every 15 experience you've earned in total, you may choose and add 1 discipline asset to your deck. Okay. And these are her disciplines, obviously, so we get to choose one of these at the start of the creation. So this one, she gets her +1 will take an action, take 1 direct damage to heal 3 horror, or 1 direct horror to heal 3 damage. Flip that asset over, and there's 5 of the same sort of things, that are 4 of the same sort of things. So that's doing intellect, fight, and agility. And when you flip it over, If you've taken no damage, you can flip it back over. So that's quite a cool little mechanic. And then Burden of Destiny is effectively matches the 4. You can't flip it back over effectively. So that's Lily. This is just a very quick run through of these. And we've got Norman with us. 4 will, 5 intellect, 2 fight, 1 agility. Play with the top card of your deck revealed. Nice. Once per round, you may play the top card of your deck as if it was in your hand at a -1 resource cost. Very nice. Forced after a weakness is revealed while on top of your deck, draw it. Okay, so it doesn't sit there waiting, you effectively get it. Mythos effect is +X. You may swap the top card of your deck with a card in your hand. X is a resource cost at the top of your deck. Okay, that's cool. And then Norman's going to get Live the Ebon. I think that's how you pronounce it. 2-cost asset, Grimoire. So I can exhaust it as a free action, swap the top card of your deck with a card in your hand, or exhaust it. Commit the top card to an eligible skill test performed by an investigator. Very nice. And the Harbinger is play with it revealed at the top of your deck. Whilst it's revealed and on the top of your deck, cards in your deck cannot be searched, drawn or manipulated in any way by the below ability, except by the ability below. Basically it costs you 2 actions to get it off the top of your deck. Kind of like that. It's a really cool mechanic. Then we've got Monterey Jack, who is 1 will, 4 intellect, 2 fight, 5 agility. As a reaction at the end of your turn, if you started this round 1 location from your current one location away from your current location, either gain a resource or draw a card. And if you started this round 2 or more locations away, do both instead. Okay, so that's promoting sort of a lot of movement with Monterey. Mythos effect is +1, and if you started this round 1 or more locations away from your current location, gain a resource or a card. And he's 8 and 6. Norman was 6 and 8 sanity wise, so again fairly straightforward. I'm not going to go through the deck building requirements in too much detail. Road cards, seeker cards, neutral cards, up to 5 other cards. And he comes with, as you'd expect of an archaeologist, wonder who this could be. Trusty Bullwhip, 2-cost asset, Monterey Jack deck only. Fight with it, uses your agility instead of your fight, so he's fighting with 5. And if it succeeds, you may exhaust Trusty Bullwhip to either automatically evade the attacked enemy or deal +1 damage. Nice. And then he's got Buried Secrets, put into play in your threat area. If your location can be investigated, you cannot move except by scenario card effects. Investigate as an action. If you succeed, instead of discovering clues, discover buried secrets instead. If you fail, take 2 horror. Ooh, that's quite nasty. That's quite nasty. And then finally, we have got Bob Jenkins, who's a survivor and a salesman. 2 will, 4 intellect, 3 fight, 3 agility. So a bit of an all-rounder, as you'd expect from a survivor. And he's got entrepreneur. At any time, any investigator at your location may reveal to you the item assets in their hand. You may take an additional action during your turn, which can only be used to play an item asset from the hand of an investigator at your location under their control. Both investigators spend resources to pay costs. Okay, may spend resources. And his mythos effect is +1 for each item asset he controls, and he's a 6 and 8. That's quite cool. And he's going to get survivor cards, rogue cards 1 to 5, and neutral cards, etc. And then finally, he's going to get shrewd dealings, which is an asset, a talent. Reduce the cost of each item asset you play by 1. And as a reaction, when you play an item asset, play it under the control of any investigator at your location. Very nice. And then his weakness is a fairly straightforward one. It's a revelation. Take 1 horror. If you have 10 or fewer resources, take 1 additional horror. 5 or fewer resources, take 1 additional horror. Or 0 resources, take 1 additional horror. Okay, so if you've got 10 resources, you're potentially taking 4 horror. That's quite nasty. So that's it. Like I say, I'm not going to go through all the other cards in the investigators. You do get a whole load of other experience cards, 0 cost cards, etc. So what I'm going to do now, I'll lay these out. I'm going to have another think about things. Let's bring that out a little bit. I'll have another little think about things, and I'm going to go through. Once I've picked my 2 investigators, I'm going to come back with the decks I'll put together for them, and then we will be ready to start the Edge of the Earth campaign. So I'm just going to pause for a second, get the deck sorted, and come back to you. Thanks a lot. Okay, welcome back. For you that's watching this video, it's been a matter of mere seconds. However, for me, putting the decks together, going through my collection, it's been a few hours. I just want to make it very clear, actually, with the deck design, I don't have access to the entire card pool. I am a few of the cycles missing. I do intend on getting these, as Fantasy Flight have confirmed, they're going to be re-releasing them as part of the sort of like same style as the campaign expansion for Edge of the Earth, i.e. all of the cards, cycles and packs all in one box. So I will pick up missing Dream Eaters, Circle Undone and Innsmouth, unfortunately. Very difficult to get hold of, and I didn't really want to buy into a cycle that I couldn't guarantee getting the whole cycle for. So like a lot of you guys out there, sort of found the same thing, and that's why I'm so pleased they're going to be moving to a sort of different model for releasing the cycles, and going back as well to reprint and do the existing cycles. It's a bit or slightly frustrating to be able to get sort of 4 or 5 of the packs and then be missing one, so you can't actually complete the campaign, or there's parts missing. So I'm working with what I've got effectively in regards to the card pool. I've got obviously Dunnage Core, a couple of cores, Forgotten Age, and the new expansion, and the starter decks for Harvey and Jacqueline as well. But anyway, working with a limited card pool, that's my excuse for some of the decks. So just wanted to make that very clear right from the outset. So let's have a look at the deck I've put together for Daniela. We've seen her card, her original sort of card. Then we've got the Mechanics Wrench, which we know about, Mob's Goons. Oh, won't tell you that one. Let's put that there. So we've got Bandolier, and there's a reason for that in a second, as you'll see. So this is a 2-cost asset, gives you an additional hand slot which can be used for a weapon asset, and I'm thinking Daniela's going to be the beast, hopefully, so I want her to be kitted out. And there's a bit of flavour in here as well. Tried to keep it a little bit on theme as well. So Bandolier, I do 2 copies of everything. I'm not a fan in decks of certainly of this size having 1 copy. I mean, there's no other reason. I'm a bit OCD. I like to have 2 copies of everything. I think it personally sort of obviously enhances your chance of getting the card out of the deck. There are reasons, I'm sure, why you'd put 1 card in the deck, and better people than we might be able to explain that. Just the way I like to do things. So everything I've got in here, I've got 2 copies of. So Bandolier, 2 copies. New multi-class weapon, Sledgehammer, 3-cost asset. can be used by a survivor or a guardian. So obviously it's guardian. It's a 1 action to fight. You get -1 fight, but you do deal +1 damage for this attack, which is cool. And for 2 actions, you get to fight at +2 fight and deal +2 damage for this attack. So doing 3 damage, which is, as a standard, it's pretty strong, I think, personally. I could be proved wrong, but it's a 2-handed weapon. Hence the reason for having Bandolier in here, because it does allow me the option of having another weapon in play. If I get Bandolier out, that'd be one of the cards I'll be looking to mulligan into if possible. So Sledgehammer. I don't play taboo lists or anything like that. I play with the cards I've got. Machete I think is on the taboo list, but Machete's in here. I play for fun. It's not competitive or anything like that. I'm not going to a tournament or anything like that. So Machete's in there, +1 fight for the attack. And if it's the only enemy engaged me, it's doing +1 damage, so 2 damage potentially. Survival Knife, +1 fight for this attack. After an enemy attacks, deals you damage during the enemy phase, exhaust it, and you actually get to fight with it. So that's really cool. And it's also +2 fight and +1 damage. So in 1 round, effectively, if you hit twice, you could be doing 4 damage to something, which is cool. 2 of those. Toe to toe, you do a fight. This attack does +1 damage and is automatically successful. As an additional cost to perform the attack, the chosen enemy makes an attack against you. And I think obviously that clearly works quite well with Daniella's ability. So 2 of those. Pretty staple card for a Guardian deck. Dodge. When an enemy attacks you, you can cancel the attack. Again, stacks with Daniella's ability. Even if the attack is cancelled, her ability still kicks in, so we can dodge out of the way. A little bit of assistance here. She's going to hopefully be defeating enemies. So with evidence, we've got it in hand for 1 cost. We can discover a clue just straight away, no investigation, just get the clue. I've got 4 survivor cards in here, not 5. So I had to really be choosy about what I put in. And obviously once we upgrade, we can move into some other juicy cards. But at the moment, I've got 2 copies of Lucky. Again, fairly staple card for a survivor deck. Get +2 skill. When you fail a test, you get to basically, hopefully get beyond the limit to achieve the test. Let me handle this. It's fast. Play after another investigator draws a non-peril encounter card, but before resolving this card's effects or that card's effects, you're considered to have drawn the encounter card, and instead you get +2 to each of your skills whilst resolving that card's revelation effect. Don't know. I'm not entirely sure on this one. I thought I'd give it a go. One of the reasons I put it in is because I really love the artwork. But let's see. That might be handy. Just trying to create a bit of survivability for Monterey with it. So see how that goes. The only ally in the deck, it is a good one. Guard Dog, 3 health, 1 sanity. As a reaction, I can deal when an enemy attack deals damage to Guard Dog, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. So it'll chomp out of him. Again, for those of you who play Guardians, fairly standard card, Vicious Blow. Playing it, if the skill test is successful during an attack, the attack deals +1 damage. So with Sledgehammer, we could be doing 4 damage with Vicious Blow, which is awesome. Live and Learn, a little bit like Lucky to a degree. Fast, play after we fail a test. Play after your skill test you failed ends. After resolving all the effects of the failed test, attempt the test again and you get +2 skill value for the test. So not quite as good as Lucky, but I think good to like for attacking. Scene of the crime, play only as your first action, discover 1 clue. 2 clues instead if there is an enemy at your location, and it doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity. Daniella's going to be involved with enemies, more than likely in places that have got clues on them. For 2 cost, getting 2 clues off that I think is going to be really good, hopefully. And then take the initiative. Again, playing 2-handed, I get to decide who goes first. And if I really want to hit something first up, I can commit this. Gives me 3 wild cards, but you do lose a wild card symbol for each action that's completed by any investigator this phase. So, for example, if I went first with Monterey and used his 3 actions, he would, take. He would. Those wild cards would disappear effectively. So you've got to go first, or your first or second action to get the best benefit out. Take the initiative. That'll be good. But I thought, again, give it a go. Looked pretty good. So that's Daniella's deck. We'll just sort that back out. Put her back on top. Now put her to one side. And then we've got Monterey. Let's just take those out because we've already seen them. That's his trusty ball weapon, the weaknesses. So, again, for those that are used to and know the rogue decks, Leo De Luca is a pretty much, for a lot of people, a shoe-in. He is a 6-cost asset, but he does give you an additional turn, an additional action. So he really does make up, and he does a lot of heavy lifting. 2 health and 2 sanity as well. There's a bit of a soak. Do know that he's 6-cost though. Then we've got Slip Away. It's an evade, but we do add our intellect skill to the evasion attempt. So I'd be running at a 9. His intellect is 4 and his agility is 5. So that's 9 to start off with without adding any skill cards or symbols into it. And if you succeed by 2 or more and the evaded enemy is non-elite, it does not ready during the next upkeep phase, which is really cool. 2 cost. Elusive, again, classic rogue card. Play it, disengage from an enemy and move to a revealed location with no enemies. So again, trying to buy into Monterey's ability to gain resources and cards if he uses his movement. A bit of a theme card. This is from the Edge of the Earth campaign, Sled Dog, and there's 2 copies of that. You can include up to 4 copies of Sled Dog in your deck, and 2 copies or 2 of these take up a single ally slot. So I can have 2 and it only counts as 1 ally. You can exhaust these, so if I exhausted 2 I could move 2 times for 1 action. If I exhaust it and fight, I get +2 fight for this attack, and it does 2 damage, an additional 2 damage as well. So this seems like a very strong card, and getting both of them in play would be pretty awesome. Those are both actions though. Think on your feet, fast, play when an enemy would spawn at your location, immediately move, Monterey Jack's special ability, to a connecting location. Then the enemy still spawns at the previous location, so we can get away. Love the artwork on this as well. It's great artwork. Then some new cards. Seeker Rogue, Pocket Telescope. Free action, effectively. Exhaust, Pocket Telescope. Look at the revealed side of a connecting unrevealed location. Doesn't mean reveal it. You're not turning it over. Well, you are turning it over to look at it. You're not flipping it. So you can have a look, see what's coming up. And as an action, you can investigate a revealed connected location as if you were there, which is quite cool. I think Monterey's going to be on his own a fair bit, so we'll put Lone Wolf in there. If there are no other investigators at our location, you get a resource. So we can do that. We can build up resources to get things like Leo out. Ethereal Slip, again, awesome card artwork. Rogue Mystic. Choose a non-elite enemy at a revealed location up to 2 connections away. Swap places with them, so we can do a bit of a shimmy, which sounds cool. Scout ahead, again, move up to 3 times. Enemies do not engage you during this movement for 1 cost. 1 action, 1 cost, but you're moving up to 3 times. Really good. And obviously, you know, it's got Monterey on the card by the looks of it, so come on, it's got to go in there. And again, I've got 4 Seeker cards in it. These cards count as rogue cards as far as I'm aware, because they're multi-class, and that's the class we're picking, so they don't count towards the Seeker value. I've got field work. After you move, if that location has at least 1 clue on it, exhaust field work, get +2 skill. So again, moving, getting better value for our money when it comes to movement. The other one, fairly boring, I think, but because Monterey is going to be our main clue gatherer, I couldn't not put magnifying glass in. Gives me a static +1 intellect when investigating. That takes him up to 5, which I think is a good stat. 2 of those. I wanted to give him a little bit of survivability, so I put a 41 Derringer in there. 3 cost asset, 3 ammo. Spend it, I get +2 fight, which takes me to 4, which isn't too shabby. If you succeed by 2 or more, this attack does +1 damage. I'm not expecting that to happen very often, but I wanted to give him a little bit of survivability. Lucky cigarette case. After you succeed at a skill test by 2 or more, exhaust it, draw a card. Again, I think it's cool. Sneak attack. Exhausting enemies, evading enemies. Deal 2 damage to an exhausted enemy at your location, which is pretty cool. No fight required. And then backstab, which is an awesome card from Monterey. Uses agility instead of fight, deals +2 damage. So I'll be fighting 5 agility. So that's really cool. So there we go. Those are our starting decks. I will put them in Arkham DB just to check, just to double check to make sure that they are legal. I think they are. I'm sure that hopefully people will put in the comments if they're not. And if they are legal, then I will put a link up in the description. And we're ready to go with Daniella and Monterey taking a trip down south by the looks of things to the edge of the earth. Really looking forward to this campaign, really looking forward to bringing you along, see how we do. The game's brutal, it always has been and always will be, but that's what's fun about it. I play for fun, like I say. Let's just see how it goes, let's see how the decks roll out. There's a lot of upgrade cards in the Edge of Earth campaign box and the Investigator box, so I'm looking forward to hopefully getting some experience and sort of pimping out the decks a little bit with some of the new cards. I will try as best as I can to use the new cards that have come with the expansion. I think it'd be really good for you to see those cards and give you an idea of how they play, and we can take it from there. So this is, like I say, session 0, and the next video from me will be us taking on I think it was Ice and Death was the first scenario. Sounds delightful. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, I'd really like it if you could press the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Starting to build up subscribers now, which is really cool to see. I do get weekly videos out. They're always released on a Friday evening at 7 PM GMT time, and I look forward to taking this challenge on. Thanks for watching. See you later.